Go.
Louie C. the mayor, man. Beautiful day in paradise. We added all good news, man. I'm still happy as pie from yesterday. Restaurant and bars back to regular operating hours, so that is absolutely spectacular. Shout out to FloridaKeysInjury.com. Lawyer for all accidents in the Keys. If you have an accident in a car, moped, bicycle, or God forbid on that big ocean, all you got to do is go to FloridaKeysInjury.com. Them local boys will take care of you without a problem. 302 Southern Street. And my man, Dr. Burrows, the #1 doctor in America and planets above and beyond. Advanced Urgent Care Key West Marathon in Key Largo. And it's about that time for some new Cuban food right here. Paradise, 124 Duval Street. Have you found paradise? All love right now. Who is Michael Knowles on production today doing big things? And please hit the notification button right over here. Whoop! And those of y'all watching on YouTube worldwide, make sure you hit this little button right here and subscribe right over here. Whoop! And if you want to reach 1,000, make sure you sponsor our show and inbox me. Right about now, we got a legend in the building, serious on that football field, serious on that conch baseball field, serious on that class of 87, Bobby Highsmith, straight out of the school board. What is going on, sir?
Mr. Rock, good evening, my friend, my brother. Thank you so much for having me on your wonderful podcast. It's an honor to be here. One correction, though, I never did anything good on that baseball field. Football was my game.
Got you. But you was out there on the road.
I was out rooting for my buddies playing, that's for sure. Kevin Cabanas, Ronnie Acevedo, John Hall, Billy Sawyer. All them guys were great baseball legends back in the day.
I know.
Freddie Varela.
I think he was out there with us with Robert Santana.
That's right. I played JV for 1 year.
That's why I remember you, because you couldn't miss you on the baseball field.
Right.
On football, you kind of blend in, but not in baseball. So.
Coach Robert was very gracious to me and allowed me to have a season out there wearing the spikes. But at the end of that season, he and I both knew that baseball wasn't my game. But I sure had a lot of fun being part of conch baseball for that 1 year.
So it's an exciting time now. We finally we get to go back to business for the kids in the school. It's been a trying year. So we got a lot of people come in on the worldwide platform on YouTube. So can you give the people a brief introduction about yourself, sir?
Yes, sir. I had the wonderful good fortune of being born and raised here in the fabulous Florida Keys. Went to high school, went to all my school. I started at Reynolds Kindergarten School over on Reynolds Street there. Then I went to Point Siena for a couple years. And then when I was entering 3rd grade, they opened up Gerald Adams Elementary out on Stock Island. And went there for 3 years. And then on to HOB in Key West High School. And so I'm a proud product of the Monroe County school system. Feel like I received a world-class education right here locally. Good enough to get me a scholarship, a football scholarship to Duke University in North Carolina. Went off to college there, had an amazing experience, had the incredibly good fortune to play for Coach Steve Spurrier for a few years before he went on back to his home of the Florida Gators and then above and beyond that. After I left, graduated from Duke, I went to the University of Florida for law school and got my law degree there. Came back down south, went to the big city, Miami, for a couple years to get some experience there. And then in 1996, came back home to Key West. Been practicing law here ever since. Just celebrated my 25th anniversary as a practicing attorney here in Florida. My parents were school teachers here in our district and went up and got into the administration as well. They were both principals at schools here. My dad was on the superintendent's executive team for many, many years. So public education has always been something that's super important to me. And then back in 2014, I decided that I was a little concerned about the direction that the school board was headed. And so I decided to run for office for the first time and was very fortunate to get elected to the school board seat for District 1.
Outstanding. So, you know, me and you go way back. We've been at it for a long time.
I knew you when you were Louie Collazo.
Yes. So Jose Luis Collazo.
Jose Collazo, that's right.
Yes, and, you know, I got to tell you, boy, that was some fun times at the Key West High School.
Yes, sir.
It's nothing like putting that red and gray on. Definitely spectacular. Anybody got any questions on school board business, come on in on the live. Tell them Bobby Highsmith is on the live right now, and we're going to get to the meats and potatoes. So back to school, how we looking?
So far, so good, man. It's obviously very challenging times for our world, our nation, our state, and our community. Everyone has an unprecedented challenge in how we respond to this pandemic. I'm just incredibly proud of our teachers, our staff, our school administrators, and all the incredible work that they've done. We had to finish last year's school year virtually, and that was unprecedented, a first of a time, and so I thought we did a pretty good job at that. But I think everyone agreed that that type of program was not going to be sufficient for the long haul, and so our folks went to work over the summer and put in above and beyond type preparation so that they were prepared for whatever we faced. And so when we opened school back up in August, it was clear that we needed to stay virtual because this virus was still raging through our community. And so we've been going through virtual instruction since we opened, and much different type of programming than it was at the end of last school year. And our teachers just worked very, very hard. But teachers, students, administrators, everyone wants to get back inside those buildings and start get back to face-to-face learning, because as good as we've gotten at the virtual, it's still no comparison to the face-to-face inside our school buildings. And so we've been working very, very hard to do that. We've already welcomed back a lot of students from our vulnerable communities that need some extra support. They've been going to school back in our buildings for the past couple weeks now. And right now we're transitioning and getting folks through orientations. For next Monday, we start face-to-face instruction for all of our students, and we're just super excited about that. Our younger students, the K-5s, will be in class every single day, which they need. Those are some of the ones that struggle the most with the virtual environment. And then our middle school and high school students are going to be on what we're calling an A-B schedule. The A schedule students will go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 week, Tuesday, Thursdays. The next week, the B students will have the opposite. They'll be on the Tuesday, Thursday, then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then everyone will be online for the days that they're not in school. So it's not optimal, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
And so it's going to be an incredible challenge for our teachers to manage that face-to-face instruction as well as the virtual learning. But you know, we just are very fortunate and blessed to have some of the best teachers in the world here working in the Monroe County School District, and so I'm very confident that they're up to this challenge. I know that they're just burning the midnight oil, getting ready for it. We're going to be safe. We're going to be smart. We're going to be socially distanced. We have a ton of sanitation protocols in place. We're going to have very small groups to try to manage this as best we can, and hopefully that's going to go real well, and before too much longer we'll be able to move into the next phase. This is phase 2 that we're going to start on Monday. Hopefully that goes well in the school and in the community.
You see, you got your Star Trek watch.
Right, I've set my phone on silence, but my watch, I don't know how to do that.
Let me tell you this though. So we back to business, and very happy for it, because you know, kids have suffered, everybody suffered, and this pandemic, we out of a movie, but we still what I call a Netflix episode, and it's real serious out there. But any questions you got, come on in right now. Big Highsmith is going to answer them. Can you see that right there? There's a gentleman named Red Taylor. Can you see that right there, Bobby?
I can. That's very nice of you, sir. I appreciate that.
You want to read there on the screen what he says?
It says, impressive scholastic career, Bobby, and the way you have applied that over the years is awesome. Much respect. Now you're giving back big time. That's very, very, very nice of you to say. Question: could Dr. Boros' ivermectin prophylactic treatment get students and teachers back faster? Listen, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Bruce Boros. He's an incredible doctor. He took care of my mom when he was still full-time practicing. And I believe if I got sick or if I needed it, I would be on that ivermectin, because ivermectin.
Right.
But it's not approved. It's not sanctioned. It's not something that we could rely on, I don't think, as a school district yet. I would encourage everyone to if you got sick, have a family member, listen to Dr. Boros, follow that. I just don't know at this point that it has passed the scrutiny necessary for a government body to say, this is going to work.
Let me elaborate a little bit. So, ivermectin protocol, advanced urgent care, Key West Marathon, and Key Largo. if you have symptoms of COVID-19, it looks like it's COVID-19, it talks like COVID-19, most likely it's going to come back COVID-19. The new protocol, I don't know if you know now, is they put you on ivermectin right away, even before the test gets back.
Right.
And that's been getting people back to work and back in the grind full throttle. He's the first one to do it. And we're over double digits in people now that have been very successful. Some very serious coming out and turning around in less than 24 hours. So at the end of the day, the kids are going to go back to school. There's no there's no guarantee, let me say that everything is going to be 1,000,000% positive and that we can stay for the whole year. If we have cases, that come about it and it puts, kids in jeopardy, then we're going to have to shut down again. So it could happen. So I don't want anybody to get caught off guard and surprised because it could happen. But for the most part, we're thinking positive.
We have a very good relationship with the Monroe County Health Department. They're the ones that give us our guidance that we have to follow. We have a plan that says if we are in phase moderate spread, widespread, slow spread, then we have this guidebook that we go to, and that's what tells us what we're doing. And so right now we're in, the last time we had a school board meeting, Bob Eady, the health department director, told us we were in a moderate spread and that it appeared safe for us to move to phase 2, which is this A-B schedule. And so that's what we're doing. And again, I hope that that's the first step and a continuous step to full-time face-to-face instruction. But like you say, if something happens and we have another spike in the community or we have an outbreak within the school district, God forbid, then we may have to pull back. But the safety of our students and staff was our number one priority, bar none. And so we're just going to have to play it by ear and see how that goes.
And you got to think positive and it'll be okay. But like I said, we got to get back to business. We back to business yesterday, like I said, with regular operating hours for restaurant and bars, which is spectacular because it's been very rough for the service industry people. And I'm so glad to see the kids go back to school because it was already, if you lose, a month is bad, let alone, I couldn't imagine you losing a whole year. So them kids had to deal with a lot of adversity, and I'm glad they made it, especially the ones who didn't go to school the whole last year. Big Peter, a.k.a. DJ DOS, says Burroughs is the truth. See, Big Pete up in New York City is
nice.
Part of the SWAT team. He's one of our DJs on Wild 92.7 on Thursday Night Live Worldwide. And he went through the whole thing of the COVID to a very serious level. He back in business full throttle. So God bless him. Also, I want to bless your mom also. Understand your mom's been a little bit sick. Hope she gets well.
I appreciate it.
Want
Thank
everybody
you, I appreciate that very much.
That said prayers for Bobby. There he is. This character?
Oh, yeah.
Georgie Valdez, what are you talking about?
What's the word on sports at Key West High School? I drove by Tommy Roberts today, and there were a lot of kids out there practicing, working hard. We have the backyard behind the high school is under construction right now, the major renovation. That's going to be awesome. So yesterday was the first day that our high school students were able to get back to practice, and all of them were able to do so. And it's going to be kind of a phased approach. Some of the sports that are considered less risky, such as golf and cross country, those types of things, can start practicing and competing almost immediately. Some of the moderate risk sports like volleyball, they're going to have to wait a bit longer before they can start competing. They can start practicing, but they can't start competing yet. And then football, which is considered one of the highest risks for obvious reasons, they can start practicing, but they can't have their first game until September 28th. And so all of our teams are working hard and trying to get our kids back on the field. Obviously, athletics is a huge part of my life. I owe my whole life to athletics, and so I'm a huge believer of it. But it's risky. We got to be smart about it. The big problem that I think that we have is all of our competition, for the most part, comes out of Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach County. So, even if we're getting our kids ready to play, the question is going to be who's going to be ready to play us? Where are we going to find games?
Right.
We're going to have to travel. We've always got on those yellow buses and drove 3-4 hours minimum. Is that going to be safe to do, to go play games and the road trips and stuff? We'll see. Everyone, needs to treat this disease seriously, this pandemic seriously. Whatever your risk tolerance is what dictates, each player and their family needs to decide for themselves what's the appropriate course of action.
Absolutely. So one step at a time, and we hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's all we can do.
Yes, sir.
But Key West Conks, we ready. In case y'all are watching on YouTube right now, nobody told you. Conk baseball, 11 state championships, the most in the state of Florida. We bleed, me and Bobby here on the red and gray.
Yes, sir.
Any questions y'all got, come on in. We're going to answer any questions you got. Me and Bobby doing the damn thing today on the podcast. So, like I said, any questions school board related?
Now, I see up there a shout out to me from Kevin Brown.
Yes, you know Kevin?
If it's the Kevin that I'm thinking of, he and I were in HOB together. We went on a school trip to London, England.
Wow.
And the palace guards there with the red coats and the big black hats that stand there at statues?
Yes, sir.
Kevin Brown made one of these guys cry from laughing so hard. His supervisor had to march this guy out in front of Buckingham Palace back behind because Kevin Brown was making this guy cry.
Cry in a good way, or
in a good way. He was laughing. This guy could not stop laughing.
Okay.
And Kevin was just an absolute hoot.
That's awesome.
It was outstanding.
Let's see. You know this character?
I do, absolutely.
Good old Bobby Highsmith with C-Rock. How y'all doing, Cuzzy? Hope all is well. Listen, we know you out there in Dade County. He's serious.
Miami police officer.
Metro Dade. Serious murders,
real
rapists, chasing people.
Thank you I heard he just retired, so thank you for your service, Jose.
Yes, and they don't have no stories about, going getting cats off of trees. It's serious over there in Miami. Like you said, though, he's retired. He coming on in, but we ain't letting Gulliver Prep off the hook yet. Jose, what year is your son in over there? Did he graduate? He got one more year. This COVID thing got everything screwed up. So let me know what year he in. Come on the live and let me know. Bobby, there you said you're coming home soon. So Bobby, this is a tough one, but we got to put alumni here and ask them these tough questions. Favorite coach of all time?
No question. That's an easy one for me.
Is it?
Tommy Roberts.
There it is. That was simple. Usually people struggle with it.
Tommy Roberts was the best man, outside of my dad, best man I ever met, best coach I ever had. He taught me how to be an offensive lineman. He was instrumental in me getting a football scholarship to play at Duke. And, obviously this whole community thinks the world of Tommy Roberts. We named our stadium after him after his untimely death. He was a teacher, administrator, went on to become principal at Key West High School. So, he's in a level of his own. But other than Tommy, we had some fantastic coaches out there.
Absolutely.
Robert Santana on the baseball side, I had the good fortune of playing for him. When I was at the high school, we had Pat Freeman, Chuck Freeman, Pat Labrada, Danny Jimenez. Those were the guys that I worked closest with. And again, I revere all of those guys and everything that they did for me and this community.
As we know, Bobby, and I got this written down here, coaches don't make a lot of money for the love of children. That's why they coach sports.
Yes, sir.
So what I've been trying to work towards is I don't think the supplements are aligned to where we at today in 2020. And I think at one point, obviously, we're struggling right now with everything going on. But I think we have to figure a way how to, do a little bit more with the supplements because they've been stuck in that same, number for a long time. Do you think in the future there's a way to look at that? How do we start on that part?
I listen. You're absolutely right. Our coaches get paid pennies per hour to be out there. It's truly they're out there because they believe in what they're doing. They love this community. They love these kids. That's why they do it. But it is a lot of time being a football coach, a baseball coach, a volleyball coach. The amount of time that these people put in to caring and teaching and nurturing our kids is just unbelievable. I absolutely agree that we need to find a way to increase the supplements. Unfortunately, it's a complicated issue. It's tied in with the teachers union contracts. And it's tied into a difficult budget. We have very generous community that the taxpayers have supported this school district in tremendous ways, but there's constraints, and we have a lot of needs in this community to make our school district the best that it can possibly be. There's 100 things that I could rattle off that could use more money. Personally, you and I come from an athletic background, so for us, the coaching supplements are huge, and so I definitely want to see that. But again, we just have to understand that there's a lot of needs that we have that we need to do better on.
Absolutely. So Osumbeto said his son is a junior out of Gulliver Prep, so he's still going to face Key West High School. So all love, but let me tell you something that's funny. So we big. You've been to some of the Key West High School basketball.
Oh yeah.
We had the battles for marathon. So since the pandemic, marathon coach Kevin Freeman, we put an APB. It's been 2 months. He ain't surfaced yet. So I'm starting to get worried now. He think we let him off the hook because we're in a pandemic.
Right.
So he ain't off the hook. So now I'm gonna have to call Rick Ramsey, see do a awareness check on that man. Can y'all tell Kevin Freeman from Marathon Dolphin, Louie Gonzalez, Willie Gonzalez, tell this man to pop up, man, because I'm serious. 2 months now, every school member, I had every school member, that man still ain't popped up nowhere. I don't know what's going on, but what they say, old story in the book, you can run, but you can't hide. It is the cost.
Listen, my brother, you didn't bring me on here just as a Key West High School alumni. You brought me on here as a Monroe County school board member. I got to represent this whole district. So that's what I'm not going to, I'm going to let you do the talk on that one.
Yeah. How about this character right here? Do you know this character? Can you see him right there?
Christopher Valdez, yeah.
He got called back to the show.
Oh, really?
Or went to the high school.
No kidding. I didn't know that. That's fabulous.
You didn't know he was back at the high school?
No,
No, you're playing.
No, I didn't.
So that I think that is absolutely fabulous. What do you think?
It's a huge score for Key West High School to pull him out of retirement. I think Christina McPherson is going to do a great job as a principal over there. But especially in these challenging times, there's no one that bleeds crimson and gray more than Chris Valdez. In his history with that school, he's just going to be just do a phenomenal job being back over there at the administration. So I'm just so super excited that Chris is back, and
I think it's well deserved. I'm glad to have him back there. And like you said, at this point, you need strong leadership, and Christina's going to do fabulous. She got a fabulous track record. You got Chris over there. You got Mr. Perkins, who's solid. So It's all good. You got a lot of change. You got a new principal over at HOB, correct?
A new principal, but someone that's been over there for a long time. Miss Santiago has been a staple over at HOB as long as I can remember. She's a phenomenal teacher, a phenomenal administrator, and I think Christina McPherson did a fabulous job. She left that school in great shape, and I think Miss Santiago is going to pick up right where she left off. And again, we're just so fortunate to have these homegrown folks coming back to our district. And you look around and you see Wendy McPherson up in Marathon, Christina at Key West High School, Miss Santiago at HOB, Franny Heron moving up to the district offices. So it's so gratifying to me to see people that we knew and went to school with that know our traditions and our ways and really generally believe in Monroe County School District and public education to come back and take these leadership positions. Again, this is an unprecedented time that we're in with this pandemic and response to it, but I don't think we could have any better people in these leadership roles.
And they've been in the trenches. They know what it's all about.
Yes,
a lot of them are graduates of Key West High School, so they know we're special down here. This is not like other places. This is the most special place in the world. We got one school. People don't know how we get all these state championship ones with one school, but we figured a way to do it. We was Friday Night Lights before the movie. Also, you got to change at Sugarloaf, right?
Yeah, we have Mr. Brett Unke that had been up at Stanley Splitwick for many years, and he's moving back down to Sugarloaf. Sugarloaf is a phenomenal school. It's a K-8. It's consistently A-rated, and just as kind of the centerpiece of the education in the lower Keys. And so I think Brett is going to be a great teacher there. And again, our own homegrown Harry Russell did a fabulous job.
Call Harry to the show too.
leading. That's right, leading Sugarloaf, and now he's up at the executive level, the executive leadership team as well, doing great things there. So again, it's just it's great things happening in this school district.
And Stanley's, you got somebody at Stanley too, right? New.
Stanley Swicklick, Christine Paul is moved up there to take that job, and she's been a great administrator. She was at Marathon High School as a dean for many years, and so she's going to do a great job at Swicklick for us as well.
Absolutely. Hit the notification button right over here. Whoop! Those of y'all watching on YouTube worldwide, please subscribe to my YouTube channel right over here. Whoop! Any questions you got, come on in and bring them in. We're going to make sure Highsmith in the building today, going to answer all questions straight out of the school board. Thank you, Bobby, once again for being on the show, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is an honor.
This is good stuff going on. How are we doing with negotiations with the union, sir?
So far, so good. That's always a tough topic for the school board to discuss while the negotiations are actively going on. We have a great leadership team from the school district administration side. These new challenges from COVID and the pandemic are affecting everything, including these negotiations. And so, as far as the last update that I had, everything was moving smoothly. And the union, its role is to protect its members. And obviously, folks are very concerned about this pandemic, and so they want to make sure that the working conditions and the safety protocols and the things that we do to deal with this pandemic are fair and appropriate to them under these circumstances. And so I think that we recognize that on the administration side, and I think we're both sides, I think, are being very reasonable at this point. And so I'm very confident that these negotiations, like all of our negotiations over at least the past 6 years since I've been on the school board, are going to conclude amicably and favorably, and with both sides, saying, all right, we both did what we came here to do, and we've reached a good, fair agreement that protects everybody's interest. And so I have every confidence that we're going to get there again.
Gotcha.
In this situation.
Key West High School roll call, come on the live right now. Let me know what year you graduated. I want to see some people coming up in here. So, Bobby, I got a big number for you.
Yes, sir.
500 million. You know where that came from?
No, sir.
Ron DeSantis.
Yes.
He allocated that for teachers in Florida.
Yes.
Me and you have talked about this a million times. In my opinion, teachers should be the highest paid profession in the world and planets above and beyond. And I'm so glad, because I always said I don't understand how this has to happen, where it comes from. And all of a sudden, next thing I do, I read this year that he allocated $500 million for teachers in Florida. And my research tells me it's roughly $1,000 to $1,200 each teacher, which is great, because anytime that happens, that makes your job a lot easier, right?
It does, but I have to say this district and the taxpayers of this community have been very, very supportive of this school district. And so we have, since I've been on the board, giving our teachers and staff, these raises on this kind of same level. And now that the governor has earmarked some specific money for that, I think that's fabulous. One of the things that they were trying to do was to raise the minimum teacher salary, starting teacher salary statewide to I believe $46,000. We're already a couple grand above that here locally. So, because of our high cost of living, we've already been paying our teachers at or near the top of the pay scale throughout the state. But
awesome.
As we've discussed, there's nothing more important in my mind than the education of our children. It's our future, and the teachers are the ones on the front line doing the hard work, making it happen, and we can't pay them enough. We really just have to keep moving in this direction.
Red Tater, all you, Bobby.
Yes, I'm still practicing law. I appreciate that. I'm board certified by the Florida Bar as a specialist in wills, trusts, and estates, and so I'm in a good position now that's basically all that I do, write wills and trusts for people. And when someone passes away, I help the family administer the estate and get the affairs settled and wrapped up, and the inheritance passed on to the beneficiaries. And so I'm very fortunate to be doing that type of work. It's a nice practice. I don't have to go to court every day and get in a fight with somebody. And it's nice being in Key West and the diverse people that we have here. And I deal with multimillionaires, and I deal with people that a much more modest means. There's no estate too big or too small for me, and there's nothing gives me more satisfaction to find a family that's been through a tough situation and someone important to that family has passed away, and me being in a position to step up and help them get through it and wrap things up, and so that's a very gratifying part of my practice.
And where can people find you if they want to inquire some information? What's the name of the practice? You have a partner?
Yeah, my firm is Highsmith and Van Loon, Dave Van Loon, the HOB football head coach.
HOB program sports is spectacular.
Yeah, he's my law partner, and we're, I guess, on Google. We're not very good at advertising, so we don't have a very good website.
It's my job to make sure you're.
But I'm sure you can find our address and phone number if you look us up. But we'd be happy to help you in any way.
So it's Highsmith and Van Leeuwen.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And I had the police chief on several times over here on the program, and me and him had an interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. And I also had a conversation with board member Mindy Khan about this. And I think maybe me and you could work on this, so it's got to start somewhere. We need to have some type of program, in my opinion, that shows kids at an early age how to interact with police and kind of know what their rights are, and let kids ask questions, because I think that, it's stuff going on in the nation right here. We got to start somewhere. I don't want to see nobody else get killed, I'll be honest with you. And what I found is the quizzes that I give to people, when it gets to the complicated side of the law with traffic stop, most people fail. Out of 10 people I do a quiz that I do with, 9 out of 10 fail. So how can we get that started and at least have the dialogue to maybe, see if we could do this in the future once we get back to, normal times?
Great question. I agree with you. It's a very serious issue for our society. Again, like most things, though, I think we're very fortunate to be in the community that we live in. I think our law enforcement here in the city of Key West, through the Key West Police Department and throughout the county, led by Chief Brandenburg here in Key West, Sheriff Rick Ramsey throughout the Keys. I think they do a great job of training their officers and having a very harmonious relationship with our community. I think that's fantastic. I think there are ways to improve. One of the things that I'm a little concerned about is the school district, I think, has ceded too much of our responsibility in disciplining our kids in the school system to our school resource officers. And I think that can set up a little bit of an antagonistic relationship between students and the police, that if it was handled at a school administration level, and the school is the one that's administering the discipline, then the police can be left to handle the more serious stuff.
I agree.
The protect and serve type stuff. So that's an area of interest to me. The Police Athletic League has always done a fantastic job with the program the programs that it's run down here. But I think if there's an opportunity to expand, I'd like to see the Police Athletic League and the Monroe County School athletic programs maybe find more opportunities to work together and have that opportunity for kids to interact with police officers in a more laid-back recreational setting.
Gotcha. So you see, Bobby still got the Star Trek watch going on, just like in the movie All Love right now. But, like I said, thank you again for being on the podcast. This is very interesting stuff. And bottom line, if you have a solution, you have an idea, go ahead and let me know, let Bobby know, because like I said, we got to move it along. It's got to start somewhere, and definitely contribute to the solution. Don't be part of the problem.
Yes, sir. Any
word on enrollment yet?
I think it's too early to tell. Coming back from this pandemic, coming into a 100% online environment has been difficult. And that's a way of saying enrollment is down. How much down, we're not really sure yet. I think we did get word that at least 100 students district-wide have opted for a homeschooling option this year instead of returning to the district schools, and that's a big hit for us. financially, we when we set our budget and we hire our staff and our teachers, it's based on the size of our enrollment. And so when we don't have that expected enrollment coming into the school district, then the financial repercussions can be significant.
And we're probably going to expect a drop, most likely.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll see. It's still early to tell, but I guess as the kids go back in school, you have a better idea. And I got to tell you, you guys up there have been working as a team. If you playing first base and I'm over at third base, we got to play our position. But together as a whole, as a school board, you guys been making some things happen. For example, you allocated, correct me if I'm wrong, close to $300,000 for the high school field, just the infield. I think it was a little bit under that, but
for the artificial turf,
yes,
Breckspeech Field a couple years ago, yes, and that turned out phenomenal.
Now you're in the backyard, based on what we talked about, it was unanimous. And I got to tell you, Bobby, I went to that school board meeting. We have to converse with people, talk, and we can't get wild up on stuff because we never get to where we need to get. We have to make sure the communication is very clear. We had two people, I don't know if you remember that school board meeting, that were not from Key West, but they moved to Key West. And they went in, we didn't know them, you didn't know them from Adam.
Right.
I didn't know them from Adam. And they went to those podiums, and they went to the podium and talked about how the decision was made based on how critical our program and successful and how we treat things down here. That was like a deciding factor that they moved to Key West. You remember them?
Yeah, absolutely. They were very impressed with our school district and our baseball program in particular.
Right.
They became conch baseball fans, and they would go out and watch games, and they were just very impressed with not only the quality of the baseball that we play, but the character that our baseball team and our fans showed. Coach Ralph Enriquez is a legend and has just done phenomenal things with that program, and it's a gem in our community. And we have the water, we have the weather, we have the Hemingway mansion and the conch train and these other great things, but we also have a world-class school district. And so,
absolutely.
As we go more and more digital as a world and a society, people have more and more opportunity to live wherever they want because they can work from home. And so I think a big part of attracting, more quality people to come in here and add to the diversity and the vibrancy and the richness of this community is to have a fantastic school system that people will say, hey, that's a place I'd like to see my kids go to school. That's a team.
I was very touched by that meeting. I don't know about you. And in the post-rap, what I told some of our people, I said, you don't really have to say anything. Them two people we don't know from Adam came in, they're from the outside in. We already lived this, whatever. They said everything that needed to be said. If them two people spoke, nobody else spoke. The people have spoken. And, you, John Dick, Ms. Khan, everybody out there, Andy is doing great. And, you can't agree on everything. That's why, the world goes around. But this is about the best school board I've seen, I want to say, in my time being active or almost living, because you guys are able to move stuff forward. And, it's a hard job because everybody wants to show up to the meetings when there's some serious topics, but it's a lot of stuff that you got to deal with beforehand that's really tedious, and you have to be prepared, and you do it again for the love of children. Your dad did it or whatever, here you are, and anybody who has a problem, I tell them, hey, very simple, you can go ahead and run for office. It's not an easy thing. If you want to be an umpire and you don't like the way they umpire, go fill out the application, coach it, the whole 9 yards. But once again, we have to be part of the solution. We can't continue to complain and not be part of the solution. It's like politics, for example. I have a rule that if you don't vote, then I don't talk politics with you because you have to do the first step.
That's right.
First or whatever. So
that's right.
And I encourage everybody to go out. Just because you graduated from Key West High School, keep going to games because you supported your kids, support other kids. Like me, I haven't had a kid in the system in a long time. I haven't missed any state championships, run only in wrestling, I believe, this whole time since '85. We're in 2020. So it's serious. We believe that and you're active out there. You like to go to a lot of the games, and people like to see you because I'm pretty sure when they see you, people come up to you and want to have a conversation.
Yeah, it's one of the best places to see people from my era, from the '80s. Everyone's so busy in their lives these days, and working hard and doing their own thing. But one of the few places where you can go and expect to see and meet a lot of your buddies from the old school is at football games, baseball games, and basketball games. And so it's a real
fascinating.
treat.
Like I said, they think that, the Friday lights was out. We got signs out here. We go in the state, we close. This is for real. This ain't nothing new back in the day.
Right.
You see the sign like you see in the movie. One day we're going to have a movie about Key West High. One day on the Netflix, you never know. You got to think big.
Yes, sir.
And the thing I want you to tell children, and I think you agree with this, just because you're in Key West, that doesn't mean anything. You have to think big worldwide. Just because we're a little small community, because look how much greatness came from here.
We send kids academically and athletically all over the world to the best schools in our country, to the best athletics, academics, you name it. And they can compete anywhere. We send them to Harvard, to Stanford, to the Naval Academy, the Military Academy, D1 schools for sports, and our kids go up there and succeed and thrive.
Gotcha. You got a question? You want to read that one, Bobby?
Red Tater again. Any boneheads using this crisis to try and do away with any high school sports in Monroe? Not that I've heard of. All of our sports are active and continuing. Again, I spoke earlier about the phasing and the highest risk sport, football. They've started practice, but their first game won't be until at least September 28th. The lower risk sports have already started practicing as well, and they can compete, right out of the gate basically. So we're trying everything that we can to get those sports restarted and get those kids back on the athletic field. Again, there's no bigger supporter of high school athletics than me, and so
quick question, Bobby. Do we have a tentative date for the first football game off the top of your head?
September 28th.
Tentative.
Yes.
Okay. And I know they're going to have some protocols there for the game, obviously with the COVID, but they'll be announcing that shortly. So I can't wait, man. I think the quicker we get out of this thing, the better. But things are looking positive. I got to tell you, our cases are down, which is positive.
Yep.
In New York, we went all the way up and then came on the other side of the curve. I believe, talking to health professionals, Dr. Burrows, that we're coming on the other side of this because, the cases have been going down. We had the lobster mini season. We didn't get a big uptake. So if we go ahead and go smooth with the school, I think we pretty much got it. But, it's unpredictable, so you never know what could happen.
Just got to keep monitoring it.
You got legends coming here. You know this character?
Oh, my gosh. The mentor, Carl Allen. Holy cow.
What can you say about this man?
One of the most impressive athletes that I've ever seen in my life. Big, fast, strong. I remember seeing him look like he was squatting about 10,000 pounds in the weight room. Yeah. He was a senior when I was a freshman, and guys like he and Danny Mariscal, James Howard, Randy Acevedo, Theodore Thurston. I mean, it was just awesome to come in.
I didn't know you played with good old Theodore too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's old Thurston, brother. Yeah.
I saw him hit a crack back block on this guy. I thought the kid was going to lose his head. Theodore hit him so hard. One of the hardest hits.
Oh no, Theodore was serious. What did he play? Cornerback?
Safety.
Yeah.
So
a headhunter.
Headhunter.
Wow, that is impressive.
Crazy. But Carl Allen, man, he was just such a great friend. You're wet behind the ear, goofy little freshman, and you got this guy that's just an absolute stud out there. But he could not have been more kinder and gracious to welcome me, teach me the ropes, taught me how to lift weights, and just awesome. It's so nice to hear from you, Carl. I hope you're doing well, Bubba.
I want to tell both of y'all both living legends.
Oh, I appreciate that, cuz.
Look at this character here. You see him?
Yes, sir. Wow.
Go ahead, and you want to read
Dr.
that?
Jack Norris, very proud of our school system. One of my sons was all-state academic and went to med school. I saw that post somewhere. That's fantastic. Just got invited to an interview at Stanford in Palo Alto for specialist tracing. Congratulations, Dr. Norris. Thank you, sir, for all you're doing to help us fight this pandemic. I love listening to you on the radio, and it's an honor. I appreciate you reaching out. And congratulations to your son. You must be very, very proud. I have... did some decent things in my day, but there's nothing that makes me prouder than when my kids accomplish something well. And so I have a daughter, that's 20 in college now. My son's a freshman or sophomore at the high school, and
Wow.
there's nothing prouder than being a parent and seeing your kids do well.
My daughter's 21 at Rutgers.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yes. It's all. This is what it's all about. These memories that you have in school. I tell kids you got to live in the moment, because right now you're sitting here and you got 28 games that'll go by in 4 minutes. So you gotta play every second like it's your last second. Because when you're young, especially me, I'm hard-headed as hell or whatever. You don't get it to after. So if you could get that out to kids, I don't think you could start learning early enough, playing sports early enough. And I got to tell you, I'm not a supporter of being out of districts. Trying not to win a state championship. I think the better competition that you play, the better you set up for life. Because yes, you might play a critical team that's 5 notches higher than you, but guess what? Maybe 1 out of 10 we could beat them. But when you get to a regular playing field with your regular talent level, you're gonna be over the top because you played that competition. It's like when we played in HOB. We got picked up in the pickup games. Or whatever. Maybe we wasn't the first ones picked, but maybe we was picked 8, 9, and 10. But I got to tell you, we played at our level. We was above and beyond. I mean, that's my opinion. What do you think?
Competition is key, and I think good competition is competition that you have a reasonable chance of success against. And it was awesome this past football season to go see us play Miami Northwestern. And
we was hanging in there. We was in the game
for a little bit
at halftime, but that's good.
But I mean, 1 or 2 games a year like that, I think is good and healthy and gives our kids a taste of that. But finding comparable schools to us to give our chances, kids a chance to play and compete. I think is important as well. So
gotcha. All love on that football field, and coaches, all love to y'all. It takes a special breed to be out there coaching. You miss a lot of family time.
Yep, no question.
And the only time you get sometimes family time is on the field. The family got to come to the field. You know this. You've been there. Don't you do a little bit of coaching football too?
I did. When my son started playing flag football back when he was 5 or 6 years old, I went out and was helping out there, and kind of stayed with his teams all the way through HOB. When he got to the high school last year, I decided that it was probably best for both he and me, for me to hang up my whistle and go just be a parent in the stands and watch it and let him kind of fend for himself with the staff and stuff. And so we did that, and it's working out well for both of us.
Okay, Bobby. So which football games are most memorable? High school edition and college, if you had to pick one of each, because I know you got to have some games out there in your brain.
Probably the most memorable high school game was my junior year. It was my sophomore year, I believe it was. We had a rivalry with the Homestead Broncos, and they were unbelievable. And Tommy Roberts gave the pregame speech before that game, and I think Coach Menendez got so jacked up he threw a chair at the mirror, and everyone was just electric. And unfortunately, they beat us, at the very end. But it was just the most beautiful fight of a football game that I'd ever been in, and it was just awesome. When you were done with that game, you'd been in something special, and the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but it was amazing.
Gotcha. Carly says, "You right, Louie C. Play like it's your last game." I say, play to the whistle blows. Should play some schools in Central Florida area. I'm hoping we go all the way to the state championship one day. We got a reason to go up there because it's not easy. We're in a tough district. I think Coach Hughes has done an incredible job, and I got to tell you, Bob. So everybody has opinions. Fans out there is like you're watching the TV. So what I did is I took my time and went over to the press box, and I just observed a little bit from the press box, and I was very impressed for what I seen there in that press box, because those guys are laying it on the field. There's nothing else that you could do. You can't work miracles. All you could do is have a team prepared, ready to go, and it's tough. It's tough, and maybe one day we're gonna get that one state championship in football. You got to get one before you get two. Basketball, we got one, and baseball, we got 11. Wrestling, we got several. So there's a lot of upcoming programs there. Soccer, we're doing well. So we just got to, make it happen and support coaches and kids. That's the main thing. Thank you, FloridaKeysEnergy.com. Lawyers for all accidents in the Keys. If you have an accident in a car, moped, bicycle, or God forbid in the ocean, all you got to do is go to FloridaKeysEnergy.com. Locals taking care of locals. 302 Southern Street. Dr. Burrows, a lot of information coming in Friday. Make sure you tune in to the show. Advanced Urgent Care Key West Marathon in Key Largo. And right over here, Paradise. Have you found Paradise 124 Duval Street? Finally, some new Cuban food you can go eat. It's a little bit hard to find, but once you get there, you're going to be a happy camper. Who is Michael Knowles? You see that boy got the USC mask on today on production, doing big things. Thank you. And go to Where's the Party Key West, man. I'm so happy. I got to give a special shout out to the county commissioners for opening us back up to regular hours. Thank God, because I don't know how much more we could salvage here, because it's really been tough on the service industry. But like my man Bobby said, slowly but slowly, we're going to get back to business. We're going to go back to school. I'm confident. I'm saying a prayer that we can stay for the whole school year, but I don't want anybody to get uptight if something happens, because it's possible. But at least we got to put our foot forward. Man, we didn't give a shout out to the most important people, girl out there in the school board. We forgot her. You don't talk about
Oxford?
Madam Superintendent.
She's
been on the show too, right?
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah. She, what an incredible. Let me tell you something, Bobby. You know me. I call him like I see him. She sat in this chair. And her preparation that she got for that school, I mean, she says she got a committee like 50 different people.
Yes.
She's on point. I mean, I felt so confident with her.
Again, we are just so very, very fortunate to have her. This was, she has a long and distinguished career in the Monroe County School District. And when Mr. Porter left, the plan was for her to come in and help to nurture some more of our local homegrown talent to kind of pass the baton, and so she was kind of going to be the perfect transition person and really kind of have a feather in her cap for a job well done and a very good career, and so she agreed to postpone her retirement and to come into this role for a couple years. And then the next thing she knows, we're getting hit with this pandemic, and it's certainly not something that she signed up for, or I think ever imagined that she would be in. But thank God that we have her. She is just so incredibly dedicated and just so knowledgeable about this school district, and has the rapport from Key West to Key Largo, from our teachers and our staff and our principals, just everyone throughout this district knows her, respects her, and can work with her. And so again, this is very difficult times, but thank goodness we have her at the helm.
Mr. Highsmith, so I don't know how you feel. I'm gonna tell you how I'm feeling. You wanna know how I'm feeling?
Yes, sir.
I'm feeling like we back at the school right now, in the junior senior field day.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we play. I don't think y'all understand. I'm gonna leave it at this. Inter squad games, we play this like a game 7 of a World Series. Stickball back in the day. We play diving head first, the whole 9 yards, and that's how I feel. And I think that if you have this type of commitment and you have this passion, and you'll get that red and gray in your heart fully, I mean, the world is endless on what you can do. So thank you again for coming in. Tater, I know you stayed with us the whole time. He says, outstanding show, Bobby and Louie, but let me tell you something. Bobby Highsmith ain't nothing to play with on the field and on that diocese over there at the school board. So have a good evening, be blessed, and be kind to people. Holla!
Thank you very much.